welcome to a very special tropical episode of Sports by Compian. I am, of course, your host, Stephen Compian, joined here by my co-host, Corey Compian. How are you today, sir?
Doing fantastic. We have this very fancy pass-the microphone system around. We're
very fancy.
Oh yeah, Mike's here. It's my first day in Costa Rica. Stoked to be here. Pretty cool.
Anyway, we are joined by our special guest, Michael Buzzwinger in the house. But yeah, we are here to do some excellent Sports by Compian podcasting. The first round of the playoffs is upon us, and here we are to cover it in great depth, as we always do here at Sports by Compian. Guys, get excited for this episode. I know I am. I know Michael is. Corey's probably mildly excited, but that's enough. But anyway, we're going to hop in and recap the week that was. Week 18, a week where a lot of teams were sitting starters. We'll get into that. Very sad. But it started off with the Chiefs absolutely disrespecting the poor little Raiders. They had a play where they literally danced around in ponies, and when they scored on them, it got called back for a holding play. But I think that play kind of sums up, that game in general. For some reason, our boy Jason Stidham, balled out the week before, but he ran into a wall against the Chiefs, I guess. I didn't get to see that full game. We're not going to really talk too much about that because, the Chiefs won. They're the number one seed in the AFC, likely Super Bowl champions. But I guess we'll see. We'll see what happens. They pretty much mauled the hell out of those poor little Raiders, and the Raiders are headed home. And they're hanging on to Josh McDaniels, which, I guess you can't fire him after year one, but rough year for him in year one. Trying to blame everybody else. Derek Carr's out of there, too.
Derek Carr out of there. Sad to see.
Come back home, Devontae Adams. Come back home.
Devontae Adams is so sad over there. He's like, what the hell is going on, man? But anyway, a game that I did actually manage to see over there in the hotel room with the Jaguars playing the Titans. Now, this was actually a pretty good game. Definitely a defensive game. It was a field goal fest. Trevor Lawrence, he looked good at points, but then he overthrew multiple balls. They just had stupid errors on offense. They looked like they could have been moving the ball much better. Shooting themselves in the foot.
That was like a win and you're in type of game, right? Like whoever won that took the division?
That was a win and, whoever won that one was going to take the division. Shout out to Jenkins, their safety for the Jaguars, had a huge play, came on a blitz, and hit Josh Dobbs, who somebody stole that guy's eyebrows. Really sad. Somebody just came by and just absolutely jacked our boy Josh Dobbs' eyebrows. It's not right. It's not right at all. And not only did he lose his eyebrows, but he also lost the ball and cost the boy his team to the game. And, this dude's apparently really smart. Yeah. Troy Aikman kept on going on about how smart he was. He's sure he's smart enough, but he definitely struggled on offense. And to be fair, the Jaguars defense just looked really good. They balled out that second half, man. They absolutely shut down anything the Titans were trying to do, other than Derrick Henry. Man, watching Derrick Henry was fun, dude. Like, even on, the 2 4-yard runs, this guy was just running people over. So the reason I shout out Jenkins is because earlier in the game, he absolutely sat Jenkins down with a beautiful stiff arm, just sent him reeling into the sidelines. But yeah, your boy Jenkins bounced back and had a beautiful play, which turned it around for the Jaguars. They got the ball back. Trevor Lawrence did enough in this game. But it really was the defense. They had a beautiful pick six at one point to seal it for themselves.
20 for 32. It's not terrible.
Well, he was doing a lot of checkdowns and such. Christian Kirk, balled out this game. He kept on getting wide open. Anytime they were in man coverage on him, they just could not cover him. So big game for Christian Watkins. They could not get anything going on the ground game, but they still managed to get it done. They played good defensive football, and that was enough for them to get the win here.
Well, they had 14 combined carries. 14 combined carries across 3 running backs. They didn't even try to run.
Well, they eventually realized that the Titans weren't going to let them run. Plus, I think the Titans have literally the worst pass offense in the whole NFL. So they're like, let's hit them where it hurts. And it worked, man, because they passed all over them when they needed to. But like I said, this was a defensive battle, an absolute field goal fest, which I'm here for it. I was enjoying the game to watch it, and it was really cool just to see that Duval crowd really get behind their boys. Teal across that stadium, and they, as the game finally was in their hands, And Trevor Lawrence was back on the field to do a couple of kneels, and he's hyping up the crowd. It was a cool moment to see the Jaguars back in this, man, after they've been struggling ever since Blake Bortles led them to the playoffs to that AFC Championship game back in, what was that, 17, 16? It's been a while since they've had any kind of life over there for the Jaguars.
From last year.
So it's cool to see. What do you have to say about that game, Mike? Any strong opinions?
I don't have much strong opinions, but I will say the quarterback, he's doing a lot better. He was freaking terrible.
The turnaround is amazing.
Trevor Lawrence, I didn't think much of him last year. Hey, I think you're the future of the team. So.
Which it's hard to say with that coach.
Yeah.
That coach just was terrible.
You guys are going to do great next year. Good things.
Yeah, I mean, they got the Jaguars, they got the Chargers in the first round, so we'll see what happens there. But yeah, really good game there. I didn't see the Steelers Browns game because I was busy at the Buccaneers game. Deshaun Watson continues to struggle. He has not looked like himself. But once again, I'm not a hater on the whole Deshaun Watson thing. I think it's whatever. I'm not gonna get into that whole thing. But yeah, I think people are being a little hard on him. We'll see what happens. He's gonna have a year to kind of settle into that offense.
6 carries, 44 yards, not bad on the ground.
Yeah, but he had 2 interceptions.
Yeah.
Not the best game for him. They need to get back to that.
Pickett, and everyone's singing Pickett's praises.
People are very excited about Pickett, absolutely.
Especially a friend of the show, Frankie. Frankie believes Pickett is the future.
Yeah.
He's a fan.
For sure. What do you think? Is Pickett the future over there, Mike?
That's still up in the air. That's definitely.
Agreed. I mean, he hasn't done anything too spectacular.
They came together. They somehow made a winning season happen. Like, I don't know how they started. What was it, like 3-5 or something crazy like that, and they ended on a winning season. It's just Steelers, man. You can't keep them down. They will find a way to go even.
Exactly. It's that franchise, and it's Mike Tomlin.
Yeah.
You can't underestimate Mike Tomlin.
He's never had a losing season.
You guys never had a losing season.
Sean McVay just caught his first losing season. Ever.
Talking about retirement and such, which is sad to see. Like,
he's a young guy.
He's like the youngest guy. He's like the youngest coach in general.
Yeah, I don't know.
But he's just making bank. He has his money. He wants to spend time with his family. It's pretty much what I've picked up on.
He's probably going to do what a lot of coaches do: take a year off, chill in some Bahamas. Think about his life, and come back with a new team and absolutely dominate. Much like Doug
Peterson.
Doug Peterson did, and now has the Jaguars playing at a high level. So that could very well be what happens. The Bengals went ahead and did they seal the NFC North with that win?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
I think they already had it. But yeah.
No, I think it was still up in the air. Yeah.
I saw Burrow wearing a shirt clinch the division after that game. So I think that's how it went down.
Good for them. I mean, they kind of obviously shout out to Hamlin. I'm glad that the guy's finally okay and such. But yeah, I think out of that whole situation, the Bengals definitely got screwed because they didn't have a chance to go for the number 1 seed. Because of that whole thing, and the game just kind of got scrapped in general. So I can understand the Bengals being a little upset about that. It's interesting that I forgot what I was going to say with that. It's just cool to see Joe Burrow rolling into the playoffs, and now these guys are going to play each other again the very first week of the wild card.
Really? That'll be a damn good.
It's going to be back-to-back games, and frankly, if Jackson doesn't come back, we're probably going to see another. We're going to probably see another win by the Bengals. Don't you think?
Yeah. And shout out to Joe Mixon. You've done well for me fantasy-wise.
Absolutely.
Put me in the championship game.
Not a particularly great game out of Mixon this one, but yeah, he's had a solid year in general. But yeah, moving on to the Vikings, absolutely destroyed the Bears.
The Bears are just so freaking terrible. Every year they are so bad. And you knew what the outcome of this game was going to be before it even started. The Bears are so bad. The Vikings, they're pretty good, but the Bears, oh my God.
We'll see what they can do in the playoffs because this is going to be some prime time, and we all know Kirk Cousins hates primetime games.
So a little fun fact here: the Bears got the first overall draft pick because the Texans beat the Colts. So there's a conspiracy theory that the Colts threw the games that they could trade with the Bears because the Bears don't need a quarterback. So but the Colts do.
Do they trade Justin Fields? They trade Justin? They keep Justin Fields.
They keep Justin Fields for sure.
Okay.
You got to.
So their coaches even said I would have to be a crazy person to get rid of Justin Fields right now because the guy's playing like a fucking pro. But
he's had a couple rough weeks, but yeah, I agree. He had a good season overall. I'd say.
just get a team around him, and he's good.
I think he's proved he can be a good running quarterback.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's proven he can be a good passing quarterback.
I think that's fair.
And if you don't get rid of him, who do you draft first?
Yeah.
Probably not a quarterback then, right?
I mean, there's like probably three.
That's why they trade to the Colts, and the Colts they give them a bunch of draft capital that they can build a team around Justin Jefferson for, and the Colts they get themselves a quarterback, which they desperately need because they've been trying to put on Band-Aid after Band-Aid with Phillip Rivers, fucking Carson Wentz, and
now Matt Ryan.
Now Matt Ryan. They're like, we're out of Band-Aids. We got to draft our future. They can trade the Bears first overall pick, and the Bears just get whatever they need to build the pieces around their guy.
We'll get to that Colts Texans game in a minute here, but that was kind of interesting. And then the other one is the Bills and Patriots. This was actually pretty close. Like the Patriots kept it close for like most of the game. It obviously got out of hand towards the end there. The Bills were playing with a heavy heart, and their kick returner didn't he have like 2 kick returns?
I don't recall. Maybe.
Yeah, I know he returned the opening kickoff.
He took back 2.
He took back 2 kickoffs. So shout out to that dude. I think like 23 or something. I don't even know his number. Let's see if he's listed there. I don't know if he's gonna be listed on the temporary.
Refresh.
Yeah, see if this reloads. Stand by. Technical issues.
Technical difficulties.
Coast your internet.
Scroll back up. But yeah, that game was interesting because I mean the Patriots were in it for a while, but then it obviously got out of hand to a better team. You know, hard to hit on them too much. Where is that?
Probably
guy?
special teams down at the bottom. Yeah, kick returns.
Punt returns.
Naheem Hines.
Naheem Hines? No way! I know Naheem Hines.
235 yards.
Dude, huge game out of Naheem
2
Hines.
tutties. Good for him.
And yeah, good for him, man. Coming over from the Colts and doing really well for them over there. Good for the Bills. They have a team of destiny built to them. We'll see if they can get past the old Chiefs, because that's been their kryptonite for a while. Keep this 18. Anyway, moving over to the Dolphins and Jets. Well, obviously, there's not much to talk about in this game. It looked like an absolute nibble fest.
Low-scoring game, yeah. 11 points. Jeez.
Total nibble fest. But the Dolphins pull out a win and limp into the playoffs after struggling. Is 2 out for that game?
2 is out. I don't know about this game. I think for that game too, but for the first game of the playoffs, he's not playing, so they're a wash.
Too many bumps on the head.
Yeah.
Dude is banged up, dude. He's having a hard time saying other people. We probably shouldn't be laughing about it, but
yeah, man's been struggle busing.
He's definitely struggle city.
Wow.
And now over to the Buccaneers Falcons.
Ooh, you were at the game, Steven.
I went all the way to Atlanta to watch this game. And you know, man, I can't be too mad because the first half got to see the GOAT throw a touchdown pass. Got to see him play some pretty good football. You know, threw a touchdown to Kyle Rudolph. I think that's his first touchdown pass as a Buccaneer. Catch, I'm sorry. So, you know, we were up 17-10 at halftime. I think if we would have left the starters in, Brady came out in the second quarter, and then they proceeded to take out all the starters on defense, most of the starters on offense. We kind of ran out of bodies, so there still was a couple scattered starters in there. But we had our second strings, our third strings in there, and Atlanta sure as hell made them look like second and third stringers, dude. Shout out to Tyler Algier. I was at the stadium, and before the game, they were saying, hey, this guy only needs 100 more yards to get to 1,000. I'm like, not going to happen. Our Bucs defense is amazing. No way. Dude, this guy was running over the starters. Like, he was having a good game in the first half. And then when it was the second half and the second stringers and third stringers came out, boy, they could just not tackle this kid. Man, Atlanta does their games well. I would go back to another game there. It was really cool. The concessions are obviously super cheap. You know, great prices on everything.
Economy.
And you know they had a whole little white section over there with their bands playing, and they were hyped for the game. You know they were very excited. I was definitely happy to shut them up in the first half there. Yeah. In that first drive, like just drove down and scored on them. But you know they showed fight, this young team. You know their young quarterback Ritter. He looked good out there. You know moving.
Ritter, one of those.
One of those. But he found Drake London, another rookie for them, multiple times. We already mentioned Tyler Algier. Big game out of that young Falcons team. I think they're going to make some noise next year. We'll see what happens. They need a couple more pieces on defense, obviously a couple more pieces on offense too. They've moved on from the old Marcus Mariota. I guess Marcus Mariota he was Atlanta, but they eventually benched him because I just don't think he's an NFL quarterback. What do you think, Mike?
He's another one of those running quarterbacks, you know.
But he's not even that good at running it.
Yeah, I know. It's questionable. I think he's a good backup for a long time in the league.
Yeah, he'll bounce around and make millions of dollars as a backup, so it's hard to feel too
Make
bad.
that money,
guy.
Marcus. Cha-ching.
Former first round pick over Jameis Winston. No, wait, it was Jameis Winston and then Marcus Mariota. So yeah, both those guys have kind of fallen off severely. Moving on to the team that Jameis Winston is on, we love to see the Saints lose here at Sports by Compian. Fuck the Saints. Absolutely happy to see the Panthers pull off this win. This was like 7-7. They're like going into the fourth quarter. I'm like, what is going on in that game? Does nobody want to score points over there?
What is up with your division with the Buccaneers? You guys making the playoffs at 8-9 over here?
Dude, like I said, we would have been 9-8. Okay, I don't want to hear it. We would have been 9-8, but we took out all of our starters in the second half, and yeah.
Okay.
Atlanta made us absolutely look terrible with that. We literally had one first down the whole second half. People are already shitting on Kyle Trask. I don't think it's fair. He was throwing to subpar wide receivers. No offense to Scotty Miller and Tompkins, who actually looked pretty good in that game, but it's hard to judge a quarterback on like one or two. It was like 3 drives, but he completed like 3 passes. It was pretty brutal. He definitely had a rough game.
Dude, this dude Chris Olave. He's a rookie. He's apparently from Cuba, and he hit 1,000 yards in his first season. So
yeah, he's looked really good. He's a former Buckeye, and he's been good all season.
Those Cubans could do more than play baseball, huh? Sounds like it.
There's some athletes over there.
Did we say Cuban, or did you say? I thought you said
Cuban. Pretty sure.
Okay.
I think he's Cuban.
I thought you said Jamaican. Okay, either way.
No. I'm pretty sure he's Cuban.
Either way, shout out to Olave. Definitely playing some good football. But fuck the Saints, and we absolutely love to see them lose. Fuck those guys. So this game, the Colts and the Texans, was weird, man. When I first saw the score, I think it was like 24-3 or something crazy. Like the Texans over the Colts, and then the Colts came storming back to take the lead. We're leading for most of the game, and then the Texans score a touchdown, go for 2, and win on 1 point. Not good enough for Lovie Smith to save his job, which I'm totally fine with. As he came and coached for the Bucs and was fucking terrible. Then he went and coached for Illinois and was terrible there. So I had no idea how he got this head coaching job for the Texans anyway. I mean, not to be a total hater on Lovie Smith because you don't want to see people fired, but fuck that guy. He sucks. He clearly should not be a coach in the NFL or anywhere really because he's clearly a bad coach.
What was he like? He was a defensive coach before.
Well, so he took the Bears all the way to the Super Bowl, just on their defense. I mean, who did they have at quarterback that year? He was fucking terrible.
Oh man,
Cutler?
No, not Cutler.
It
wasn't Cutler. It was somebody else really bad.
He was bad, yeah.
Oh, fuck, I forget the guy's name, but yeah, dude, like they
terrible. Fuck that
they
guy.
rolled
Whoever he was.
They showed up to the Super Bowl, and the Colts let them know that they didn't belong there with them. So yeah, Lovie Smith has gotten to the Super Bowl because he's a good defensive coach. I mean, I guess. He gave up 31 points to the Colts, and has not looked good with the Texans.
Colts are not.
The Texans have shown us a fight this year, so I guess it's not like fair to say that they look terrible all around. But then they have like literally no talent over there. Like I can't think of too many good players over there. But yeah, it's kind of weird. I guess Corey's theory could possibly be correct here. Who knows? But either way, the Colts drop another one, and now they are going to be picking very early in the draft, which will make Pat McAfee pretty happy, I'm sure. And then the 49ers and Cardinals. Last game here for Cliff Kingsbury. It's kind of crazy that he signed that huge of an extension the year before, only to be fired the following year. I don't think this is fully on him. What do you think, Mike?
I mean, you got fired. You probably deserved
it. Fair enough. Yeah, I mean, it's tough to say, man. That team is just completely falling apart. We would have liked to see a little bit better.
They're 4-13.
They're 4-13. It's hard to say that like anybody's doing too good of a job, but I would have liked to see J.J. Watt. At least he gets 2 more sacks in his final NFL game. But it sucks to see him on a terrible team in his last NFL year. The guy deserves a little bit more respect than that. But he balled out this year, so it wasn't on him that everything went downhill. If you could point to one player on that team that didn't deserve this, it was definitely him. And their safety. Who am I thinking of? Baker, Buda Baker.
Yeah, they're a bad team.
They're low Pro Bowler. So yeah,
almost as bad as the Bears. But yeah.
Almost as bad as the Bears. Not quite though, apparently.
Yeah.
No, to be fair, didn't the Bears trade away every single good player they had?
They They have good players.
They sold a bunch of their defensive guys. They shipped off in the beginning of the year, I think.
Yeah, Roquan Smith is over with the Ravens now and having kind of a resurgence to his team. But you know what, dude? Shout out to this 49ers team. They are looking dangerous as hell going into this playoff run. I don't think anyone wants to play them. They have the best defense in the NFL. They run the ball like fucking maniacs. They got Christian McCaffrey, and their schemes just allow for really good run games all the time.
If their third stringer, Brock Purdy, goes down, fuck it. Just have Christian McCaffrey standing there as your quarterback. Like, they'll make it work.
Apparently, yeah. They got Deebo Samuels back just in time for the playoffs, so they're definitely looking dangerous as heck, man.
Best trade of the year was the 49ers getting Christian McCaffrey.
Apparently.
Without a doubt.
They're absolutely making him look great, and yeah.
What's crazy is Carolina was like, we're going to sell the farm. Everybody, you get out of here, you get out of here, you get out of here. And then, all right, now we're going to, like, maybe make the playoffs. Like,
yeah.
Calm down, guys.
It was pretty wild. I really thought they were going to suck after they fired their coach, but no, Steve Wilkins had them played at a high level. We'll see if he can hang on to the head coaching job over there. I don't think they fired him yet, right? I don't think I've heard of him being fired just yet. But yeah, so 49ers looking dangerous as heck. Cardinals fire their head coach. Cliff Kingsbury might do the same thing as Sean McVay, take a year off, and then maybe come back for another team. Heck, I think a lot of other teams would give him another shot. Don't you think, Mike?
Maybe after a year off, yeah.
Yeah, who knows? There's enough desperate teams out there who are going to want to give him a shot, I think.
Yeah.
But, you know, as Ian Rappaport reported on Pat McAfee, apparently dude's fucking loaded. So, you know, it is kind of one of those things, why would you come back and take all the stress of being a head coach if you're that loaded? You know, then again, all these coaches are loaded and they still do it anyway. Like, don't tell me Bill Belichick is struggling for cash.
No.
Or Tom Brady.
It comes down to bragging rights, too.
Yeah. Exactly.
There's pride there.
These guys are competitors. So we'll see what happens with Cliff Kingsbury. Corey, did you see any of this Cowboys-Commanders game at all?
I sure didn't. And I'm glad I didn't.
Well, I talked to Richard briefly about it, and he was very disappointed with what he saw from his Cowboys. They absolutely got destroyed in this game. Sam Howell, he played okay. 1 touchdown pass, 1 interception, 169 yards. But apparently just piles of turnovers from the Cowboys. They just did not look good.
Dak has more interceptions than he has starts at this point, but he's still our guy.
Dude, so an interception every single game. Oh man, 128 yards. That's a rough game for him. Completed less than half of his passes. Cooper Rush even saw the field. We'll see what the Cowboys do headed into this first wild card week because they got a very interesting opponent. And let's go back here. And then headed into the Rams-Seahawks game. This has some playoff implications, this game. For myself as well, I did place a bet for the Lions to make the playoffs, which seemed like a ridiculous bet at many points in the season. But then it came down to this, man. If the Rams could have just held on and win this game, I mean, it was an overtime loss to the Seahawks, who I guess look okay with Geno Smith. I personally don't think they're going to make too much noise in the playoffs. What do you think, Mike?
I don't think they'll do much in the playoffs.
No.
Who do they play the first round?
We'll check on that in a hot minute here. But yeah, 2 interceptions for Geno Smith headed in there. Kenneth Walker, great year out of him. I definitely think he's in the running for the offensive player of the year, rookie of the year. Taylor Sykes was trying to tell me that Christian Watkins should be getting it. I'm like, dude, the dude missed most of the season. Settle down over there.
Yeah. It was a tough year for the Rams, coming off a Super Bowl, and now you're going 5-12.
Losing your head coach to boot.
And they have no draft picks because they just trade everybody for players. So yeah, it's going to be some rough years for the Rams here headed into the future. We'll see what happens. Maybe their veterans can pull it around and they'll get a new coach and get excited.
Yeah, they get healthy. Like they have just a bazillion hurt players. Like if they get healthy again, they should be a threat.
And then the Giants sat a lot of their starters for this game, and they played against the Eagles. So Jalen Hurts was finally back in action. Not a crazy performance out of him, but I'm sure the Eagles were happy to have him back and they get back into the win column after multiple weeks of kind of looking pretty bad, without him. So, as they head into the playoffs, they're the number 1 team in the NFC. I think it's the 49ers myself. What do you think?
I think the 49ers are better, yeah.
Yeah, I think they just have a better defense. They have a better offensive scheme. I don't know if Brock Purdy's a better quarterback than Jalen Hurts right now, But that offensive scheme, it just seems like nobody could quite figure it out right now. You know, Kettle's back, Debo Samuel's back. Well, Kettle never left. Kettle had a good year for once, so finally stayed healthy.
Kettle's just he's just the energized buddy. He's just there putting in the work.
Yeah, but this Eagles team, what they do really well on defense is they rush the passer with their 4 people because they had multiple D linemen with over 10 sacks this year. So it was kind of it's gonna be an interesting playoff run for them.
Bosa led the league in quarterback pursuits.
Nick Bosa?
Nick Bosa,
That's 49ers. We were talking about the Eagles. But getting back to that number 1 defense, like there's a reason. Nick Bosa has been healthy the whole year now because he's had a couple injuries throughout his career. But yeah, the Giants are headed to the playoffs for the first time since 16, I think it is, and they sealed that last week. So yeah, that's why they took out most of their starters. They didn't really care. The Broncos pull off a win against the Chargers. Russell Wilson finally looked good. 3 touchdown passes, 283 yards. You know, he desperately needed this game. He's looked okay, actually, the last couple games. Maybe Nathaniel Hackett really was the problem over there. Isn't that your boy, Mike?
Who's my boy? Russell Wilson?
No, Nathaniel Hackett.
He came over from the
He was
Packers.
the offensive coordinator for the Packers.
Oh, was he? Well,
what do you have to say about that?
I mean, you left us, so.
You left us and you got fired, so that's on you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Too much good to say about it.
But yeah, not much to say here. Other than that, Mike Williams went down with an injury, and I think he's questionable for their game against the Wild Card. So that's like everyone's saying, like, oh, you should bench your starters, you should not bench your starters. This is why people definitely consider benching their starters, because now your number 1 receiver is injured headed into the Wild Card week. So we'll see what happens. It's obviously a pretty close game here, but I think the Russell Wilson fans or people out there, which apparently a bunch of his teammates came out on Twitter and are finally defending Russell Wilson here at the very end of the year. They're finally like, oh yeah, I guess we should try to defend our quarterback.
Yeah, there are people talking a lot of shit of him.
The whole year.
I think he's kind of narcissistic or something. I don't know.
No, he's a dork.
A dork?
He's a dork. That's the problem. Because he kept saying Broncos country, let's ride. Even whenever they were getting demolished, like he'd lead the press conference like Broncos country, let's ride.
Or I think he even was saying out there, like, to his teammates, like, come on, boys, clear hearts. What's the saying? Full hearts, clear eyes, can't lose type of shit. Like, he was literally saying that.
He was just being corny as fuck. And
yeah, I like Russell Wilson. He was a Badgers guy, so.
I don't have much bad to say about Russell Wilson. We've kind of wondered why. I mean, other than him being a dork, it's hard to kind of.
He hasn't been playing the best this year.
Oh yeah, he had a shit year. There's no denying that. Keenan Allen was actually a pretty huge game. 102 yards, 2 touchdowns. That's probably because Mike Williams went down.
But Mike Williams didn't go down until the 4th, right?
I don't actually know when he went down. So yeah, either way, he definitely went down at some point, and Keenan Allen picked it up. Good for him. So yeah, this last game here, this was a sad one for one of our guests here. Michael, what do you have to say about this one?
Well, I lost $50 on this game. I'll start with that. Yeah, the Packers lost a heartbreaker to the Lions. The Packers, they were 4-8. No one gave us a fucking chance, but we came back and we almost made the playoffs. And the Detroit Lions are a good team. They're a really good team, and they beat us. It's unfortunate. They beat us 20-16.
They swept you guys this year then.
Yeah, they did sweep us this year. Yeah.
Wow.
But they were a good team. They were what? They were 2-8, weren't they? Or 2-6.
That's what I'm saying. That's multiple points in this year. My $5 bet looked like it was going to go nowhere.
I just want to give the Lions so much credit.
Yeah.
And one thing people are talking, this might be Rodgers' last year. I don't think that's the case. I have hope for the next 2 years that Rodgers is going to be playing. He has a $58 million guaranteed option next year. If the Packers want to get rid of him, they still got to pay him $58 million. And I don't think Aaron Rodgers wants to go anywhere.
Where else will he go?
I have hope for the future for Aaron and our team.
So I saw a video where this dude Jamal Williams, who was the running back for the Packers, was liked by them. Mm-hmm. So at the end of the game, Jamal Williams was like, "Hey Aaron, I got to get that jersey off you." And he's like, "Oh, not this one, man." That could be his last game. Wants to keep the jersey from his last game. So
yeah, I think Aaron Rodgers is the kind of guy who he wants to feel wanted. So I don't think he wants to just say, "Hey, I'm not going to retire." I think he wants to hear people say, "Hey, we want you back."
That's fair.
I think that's the kind of person he is, and I think that's why the game he's playing. And kudos to Jamal Williams. He
had a good year.
You used to be a Packer, and we could have re-signed you, and we decided not to. And you took it to us. You got your revenge. So good for you. I'm happy for the Lions.
Big year out of Jamal Williams. The guy found the end zone like multiple times throughout the year. This was supposed to be Swift's breakout year, and Williams kind of just stole that from him because he was their lead back this year, I think. They gave him the ball in the red zone a lot.
Didn't he set some records this year, too, for the
Yeah,
Lions?
I think he set some Lions records for like
touchdowns. Touchdown record? Yeah. Good for you, man.
Good for him, dude, because they just were constantly giving him the ball there. And you know what? It all comes back to Dan Campbell, man.
Yeah.
We just gotta keep grinding, man. Okay. But yeah, it's really cool to see them win this game, and that's why it's kind of a disappointment.
Well, I wouldn't go that far, but
That's why it's kind of a disappointment to see the Seahawks win this game, because I would have definitely preferred to see the Lions in the playoffs. Yeah. So it's a bummer that their win didn't actually count. But also the resurgence of Goff. Like, I thought Goff was dead.
Yeah.
I really thought Goff was dead. I was like, Goff is a terrible quarterback.
How old is that man?
Goff is young still.
Yeah. He's like 28, 29.
Yeah.
How old are you, Goff?
Mr. Goff is
28.
28, yeah, he's young.
He's still pretty young, yeah. And in quarterback years, he can still play for another 10. For all we know. I mean, the greats play for another 10.
He's got a bright future.
He's probably got another 6 or so. Who knows? If he keeps on playing like he is, who knows how much longer we'll see him. But resurgence from him for sure. St. Brown's looking great over there for them. So, yeah, shout out to the Lions, man. They're starting to play some good football. It's because they got Dan Campbell, man.
Mm-hmm.
They're a solid team, man. Anyway, guys, we are ready to go ahead and tackle this wild card week. This is going to be a quicker episode of Sports by Compian. We got shit to do, okay?
Yeah. We're in Costa Rica. We got plans.
We got shit to do, yo.
We got Aaron Rodgers style plans. You know what I'm saying?
Well, we really do, though. We really do. But yeah, this wild card week is going to be interesting. So the Seahawks are going to go ahead and play their division rival, the 49ers. That's going to be a tough one for our boy Geno Smith going against that number one defense. How are we feeling about that one, Mike?
49ers against who?
49ers, Seahawks.
Oh, 49ers, yeah.
Absolutely.
49ers.
Yeah, not even.
Done. Yeah. Done like dinner.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a nice, easy win for them to get going into the playoffs. I guess shout out to the Seahawks. They haven't been to the playoffs.
No one thought they'd be here.
No one thought they'd
be here, and they made it happen.
Oh,
so.
Pete Carroll.
Yeah, Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll, man, never gives up.
just chewed his way in.
Just fucking went through like 20 packs of gum a game, but he made it happen.
Get that guy a freaking Wrigley sponsor or something.
Dude, I'm sure he is. I'm sure if you go to Seattle, he probably is sponsored by like multiple gum companies or something.
Bubblicious? What do you got? I don't know.
Something, dude. It's pretty crazy. But yeah, I think the 49ers are going to go ahead and take this one too. So we're going anonymous decision for the 49ers. Unanimous. Jaguars, LA Rams. I think Chargers. I think this is actually going to be a really good game because, like I said, that Duval County is pretty. They're hype right now, and if that defense could play any way like they did against the Titans, which granted it was against our boy Josh Dobbs, he doesn't even have any eyebrows. It's hard for him to throw touchdown passes. But yeah, I think it's gonna be a good game. Obviously, Justin Herbert's gonna have to show up for this one, do some Justin Herbert things. I think he hasn't really done that this year. He's looked good, he's looked okay, but he's gonna have to show up. Obviously, it's the playoffs, man. This is when you got to bring out all the cards. But Corey, who are you taking for this one?
I would have said really easily the Chargers, but then Jacksonville started pretending like they know how to play football. So it's kind of like, do you give it to momentum or to the better team? I think I got to take the better team and go with the Chargers.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and go with the Chargers in this one, I mean, I'm sorry, the Chargers. The Jaguars. I like the home team momentum again, the Duval County. Let's see if they can get a playoff win. Trevor Lawrence, let's see if he can do it, man. He's got to play better than he did against the Titans for sure. Well, who are you taking this from, Mike?
Probably Chargers. They got Keenan Allen, right? I mean,
they do have Keenan Allen.
So.
Yeah, Keenan Allen. They got Justin Herbert, and they got Austin Eckler, who is continuing to ball out this year.
Mm-hmm.
So the Chargers social media team had a hilarious smear campaign, like big NFL wants these big school running backs to make the Pro Bowl, and not Austin Eckler. And they put up all these stats about how Austin Eckler has more catches and more yards, and basically made a whole petition, like a smear campaign in a political sense to get Austin Eckler into the Pro Bowl. I thought it was hilarious.
That is pretty funny. I'd like to see that commercial. But yeah, I think we're going for a 2-1 vote here. Jaguars and 2 for the Chargers. Then we got the Bills-Dolphins. I think this is going to be an easy one for us as well. The Dolphins are literally limping into these playoffs after multiple bad weeks. And their boy Skylar Thompson is probably going to be the starter again. Because I don't know if Teddy Bridgewater can grip a ball right now.
Two is out. Tua is
still out for this one.
Yeah,
so
too
much banging in the head. So Skylar Thompson once again to start at quarterback, get his first playoff start. He's a rookie. I think he's going to have a real tough time against that Bills defense.
Dude, they got something to play for too. DeMar Hamlin. Ooh.
Yeah, they're playing fire. They're playing fired up right now. They're playing very fired up right now. So I think on unanimous decision for the Bills on this one. Let's go ahead and have a look at this one. Vikings-Giants. Now this should be a good one because once again it should be an easy decision here. The Vikings obviously have the better record. They should be the better team. But we all know Kirk Cousins hates primetime. So, I don't know, man.
The Vikings in the playoffs don't go out.
The Vikings in the playoffs just do not go
out. It's not a thing.
There's a reason that these guys are like one of the oldest teams in the NFL and they still don't have a Super Bowl win. Mm-hmm. There's just something going on over there with the Purple Man. And sorry to Manny Bogle who popped onto this podcast at once, and I think there was audio issues and he didn't, that episode may not have shown up. But I don't know, man. I think I'm going to take the Giants in this one. What do you think, Cor?
I went against momentum last time, so I guess I'll go with momentum this time. I think Giants.
Oh man, it's
Actually, I take that back. I think the Vikings.
Yeah.
I think the Vikings, man.
I think Giants. I think they're the bet to go with because they're probably the underdog. We'll probably put a little money on them. I'm going to go Giants.
All right. Well, we're going to take 2 for the Giants, 1 for the Vikings. Personally, I hope the Vikings win this one.
Same.
I actually do hope the Vikings win this one, even though I'm taking the Giants for this. I hope they can pull it off because I'd just like to see the Vikings do something for a change. Anyway, we got the Bengals, Ravens. This is going to be a rematch of the game that just happened. I don't think Lamar Jackson is going to play. That knee is still not okay, and he's the type of player who needs that knee to be the guy he is.
And to get paid.
Yeah, that's the other thing.
He's not out of contract. You better protect your knee and protect your bank account.
100%. 100%. There's no reason for him to want to do this because if he goes out there and looks like shit in a contract year, what would be the point of that? He'd get injured further, maybe even.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. Maybe he'll string it together and want to do it because the competitor in him wants to go win a Super Bowl. Totally would understand that. But if they go with, I don't even know who they have over there at quarterback. Is it Huntley still?
I think it's still Huntley. It should be at least.
Yeah. Yep. Huntley. Yeah, I believe it's Huntley.
Yeah. So definitely going with Joe Cool on this one. Joe Cool.
Yeah, I'll go with the Bengals.
All right, we're going another unanimous decision for that one. It's going to happen a lot with these playoff games. Now, here's an interesting one. Buccaneers versus the Cowboys.
I hate both of these teams. I don't know.
Why do you hate the Buccaneers? That's just ridiculous. There's no reason for you to hate the Buccaneers. They're not in your division. No reason to hate on them.
Everyone hates the Cowboys. There's no Cowboys fans.
Yeah,
so
I understand that.
I understand that.
Of course you hate the Cowboys.
Everyone has an opinion about the Cowboys. Carolina, not everyone has an opinion about Carolina. Cowboys, everybody has an opinion. You either love them or you hate them. That's simple.
Very fair. I'm definitely taking my boys, the Buccaneers, in this one. Like I said, we would be 9-8 right now, but we took out all of our starters. We were up 17-10. Okay. I don't want to hear it. Okay, we would have definitely won that last game, and honestly, the Bucs offense looks like they've sort of woke up over the last 2 weeks. It's like Brady has sensed the playoffs in the fucking cosmos, and he's like, oh shit, I gotta fucking get going. It's Brady time. So yeah, I think that he's overcoming his absolutely fucking horrible offensive coordinator known as Brian Leftwich. Fuck that guy. Can't wait for him to be fired. But yes, I think Brady will. He's fucking terrible, Michael. You haven't been watching Bucs games like I have. Nothing like going to the stadium and watching the exact sequence you see on TV of, all right, run on first down. Oh, that didn't work. Another run. Oh, shit, that didn't work either. Okay, pass. Oh, incompletion. Okay, 3 now. There's nothing like watching that in the stadium in person to realize how much of a shit fucking offensive coordinator Brian Leftwich is. As a Madden player, I think I could call better plays than this fucking idiot. Yeah, but right, either way, Brady's going to overcome that, and he's going to drag Brian Leftwich by the fucking head and drag him to a win over here. We are at home. The Cowboys looked like shit last week. Dak Prescott has been struggling. Our defense is waking up. I think we're going to pull off this win. Michael, who are you taking?
I don't want to, but I gotta take the Cowboys. The Bucks limped into the playoffs.
Get out of here.
They're in a terrible division. They limped in, but yeah, I gotta take the Cowboys. Unfortunately.
Whatever. Corey?
Cowboys. What he said.
Anyway, so we're going for a 2-1 on this one. I think I will be right and you boys will be wrong. But either way, I will not watch that game because we will be doing Aaron Rodgers-like maneuvers.
I'll watch it. I'll be in a bar somewhere.
Cool. So Corey will be our boots on the ground for that one. Before we get out of here, Corey did pull up the draft order. Let's have a quick look at that before we pull out of here.
Drag it over.
Da-da-da. Oh, come over.
Well, yeah, I got you.
I got you, cheese.
So yeah, the Bears find themselves at pick number 1, and thank God for that because they desperately need some weapons. They need everything. They need defense. They need offense. They need a tight end. They need a receiver. They need some
worst record in the league.
Maybe some better running backs.
So bad.
I mean, their running backs are okay, I guess, but they need weapons, dude. Don't draft a running back in the first round, Bears. Don't do it.
Yeah.
But they need some.
The Bears
weapons.
would do something like
They
that.
would do something like that.
If anyone's gonna do that, the Bears.
100%, 100% could see it, or just do something really dumb and trade it away for like nothing, like for pennies on the dollar, much like their trade for Claypool earlier this year, where they traded away. Didn't they trade away? Did they trade away?
They traded for Claypool.
Yeah, they traded for Claypool, but they gave away a 32nd first round pick for him. So yeah. Tough move for them.
Bold strategy, Cotton.
Bold strategy out of Claypool because Claypool looked good like his rookie year. Other than that, he has looked subpar as a wide receiver.
Yeah.
So
expect them to screw this
Too
up.
much of a whiner too. I've never been a Claypool fan just because he was doing the whole TikTok thing, and I don't know. He just seemed like a prima donna to me, and wasn't good enough to back it up.
Agreed. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, the Bears are going to be picking number 1. Houston Texans picking at number 2. They don't have their their coach picked right now. So we'll see who they have a coach right there. But I'm not expecting much out of these Houston Texans, even with that second round pick. What do you think there? I mean, second overall pick. What do you think, Mike?
I don't think they're gonna do much of anything. They'll probably do better.
If I had to guess, it's probably going to be some Georgia players off the board in the first round because holy shit, did they dominate TCU? That was the biggest win in college football the final history. So yeah, they absolutely destroyed TCU. I don't think that's a discredit to our boy who we talked about last week, Jameson, that number 1 receiver. That guy he still is going to be a high draft pick, I suspect. But yeah, that TCU team got absolutely demolished. I don't think it was even their fault. I think it's just they went up against a fucking fierce, excited team in Georgia who now is back-to-back national champions. First time since Alabama did it back in 2011 to 2012. So shout out to them, to Georgia. They're going to have a shitload of people off the board in the first round. And guess what? They'll have a bunch of people to come replace them because in that TCU game, they started rotating in the second and third stringers. And unlike the Buccaneers, these second and third stringers look good. These true freshmen were fucking barreling through the line, kept Duggan uncomfortable all night. Dude had a really rough game. Definitely hurt his draft stock with that game. So yeah, we'll see what happens. But I think there's going to be a bunch of Georgia guys off the board. Arizona Cardinals are picking number 3 overall.
So Kyler Murray is out for at least a year. Do you think they scoop up
Is he out for the fall this next year too?
So they need.
What the hell did he do to himself?
I don't remember what he did exactly, but he's out for a year. So they need an interim quarterback. So do they scoop up a rookie and then they trade him away if Kyler comes back? Do they try to work with that rookie? What do you guys think they do with that? Because it's number 3. It's a nice early pick.
I think you fucking get rid of Kyle Murray if you're asking me. Fuck Kyle Murray. That dude's a fucking clown.
Do you remember his season last year?
Yeah, dude, I'm not impressed.
You see his season this year?
The guy, I'm not impressed. The guy just looks like a pouty little bitch.
You see another one of those failure running quarterbacks.
Agreed. Yes, that's what.
He has an arm, though.
I mean, no, he has an arm. He has an arm. I'm not gonna say he's a running quarterback because I don't even think he does that well.
I think
I just think he's a pouty little bitch, and I don't think that's the way to lead the team.
Yeah, I think you got to stay hopeful for Kyler Murray as the future.
But
the grass is not always greener on the other side.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't think you move on from. Yeah, okay, whatever.
So, in that case, do you trade away this pick for a banged up veteran maybe Marcus Mariota, maybe who else is out there, a Cooper Rush type guy, someone who's decent to just keep the hot tub going for
get someone cheap.
Get Derek Carr in there.
Is Derek Carr?
Yeah, honestly, get Derek Carr. You're not gonna do anything next year anyway, so.
Yeah, I mean, so either way, I don't think you trade away the pick. I definitely think you take the best available off the board. Maybe somebody at receiver. They don't really have dangerous wide receivers besides Hopkins.
Aren't they trading Hopkins?
Hopkins is out.
They're trading him
They're
for sure.
they're trying to get rid of him.
There's rumors that they're trading him.
They're
Yeah.
trying to move him.
Wow.
They're full on rebuild mode.
Wow. Yeah, and their best defensive player is retiring, so that's sad. Sorry, J.J. Watt, you deserve better, buddy. And the Houston Texans,
The Colts definitely need to trade for the first overall so they can get a quarterback because, well, I guess
Well, they don't, though.
these early guys aren't really going to.
Because the Bears aren't going to draft a quarterback.
The Texans are.
The Texans will probably draft a quarterback.
Arizona
Sorry, Sam
will.
Mills. You looked good the previous year, but this year was really rough for you, buddy.
I think the Cardinals would too. That's two good quarterbacks off the board.
I don't know
Want
about
their
that.
best.
I don't think the Cardinals are going to go quarterback, dude. I think with Kyle, unless you trade away Kyle Murray, I don't think you draft a quarterback first overall.
Yeah.
That said, they are the team that drafted what was that guy's name? Another fucking pouty bitch who I don't feel bad for at all that didn't work out for him. Not Kyler, that guy from UCLA.
Josh Rosen?
Josh Rosen, yes. They had Josh Rosen first overall like multiple years ago, and like the next year they moved on from him with Kyle Murray. So I wouldn't put him past them, I guess, to draft a quarterback here. There's some studs coming out with Bryce Young and CJ Stroud.
Josh Rosen was terrible. Like we saw him go elsewhere and just suck.
Yeah, which I guess they picked up on that immediately and moved on from him. But that was literally year one they moved on from him. So I wouldn't put him past him, I guess. We'll see what happens. It should be actually an interesting first couple picks here. But yes, the Indianapolis Colts are desperately in need of a quarterback. Maybe they should trade up. Maybe they should do something. I guess it's going to depend on how those first couple picks go for them to decide what they're going to do.
I love how Seattle, like, in theory, should have like a shitty draft pick here because Denver, they were supposed to be good, and Seattle was like, oh, we're going to get a shitty first round draft pick, no big deal. And now they're like picking 5th overall and in the playoffs.
That's pretty huge. Yeah, that's a good point. That's pretty huge for them. Now, did they draft a quarterback with the way Geno Smith played this year? Personally, I think so. I don't think Geno Smith is the answer over there. But I could be wrong. What do you think?
He set Seattle records. He beat what's his face, fucking guy that went to Denver.
Russell Wilson?
He beat Russell Wilson's single season passing yard record. So he did good.
I don't know. What do you think, Mike? Is he the answer over there at Seattle?
For now, yeah.
Yeah.
Grass isn't always greener. It's hard to find good quarterbacks. You think you can draft a quarterback?
But there's some really good ones in this draft.
I say that every year.
That's a good point. They do say that every year. So yeah, we'll see what the Seattle Seahawks do, and then the Detroit Lions are getting their pick from the LA Rams because the LA Rams absolutely hate draft picks.
Same situation. same situation where they're like, oh, we're getting a draft pick from the reigning Super Bowl champions. This is going to be a super high pick, and here they are picking number 6.
Huge for the Detroit Lions. That's going to be nice for Motor City Dan Campbell. We'll see who he brings in, man. And then they've got the Las Vegas Raiders here. Kind of surprising to see these guys picking 7 overall. They are another team in desperate need of a quarterback after moving on from Derek Carr. I don't think Jason Stidham is the answer over there, and they need to find somebody to throw the ball to Devontae Adams. What do you think they're going to do, Mike?
Devontae, come back to Green Bay. Nobody's going to be there to throw to you. Don't. Just come back. Come back home, baby.
Well, that's our draft analysis from Michael. And moving on to the Atlanta Falcons, so I don't like to see them picking this high in the draft. Them or the Carolina Panthers. It's bummer that those guys are both picking so high. They have the answer at quarterback, I think, right now. You got to ride with Ritter for at least another year. Drake London looked great. They got another running back right now. They probably need some answers at offensive line. They probably need some answers at receiver, to back up Drake London because I can't. I got like Harry Douglas or something, as their second receiver. I don't even fucking know. So they probably need some answers at receiver, but do you draft a receiver this early? I mean, I think so. Yeah, we've seen teams do it before and it work out.
Sure.
And, we can see what happens there. Carolina Panthers are another team who also need a quarterback. They still are searching for somebody. They have Sam Bradford right now who, I don't think so, man. I don't think Sam Bradford's going to be the guy. They were trying to get rid of him this year. They had fucking a plethora of quarterbacks start for the Carolina Panthers this year, so I don't think they believe in Sam Bradford. And frankly, I don't think he really played well.
Sam Darnold?
Yeah, that's what I mean, Sam Darnold. Sam Bradford is already retired. Check down King. But yeah, moving on to Philadelphia Eagles, who have the New Orleans pick. This is crazy because, the Philadelphia Eagles are arguably one of the best teams in the NFC, and now they're going to be picking number 10 overall. They have multiple ways that can go with this.
Any weakness they had, like they already have 7 Pro Ballers, but any weakness they maybe could have, we're gonna shore that up in the top 10 picks.
Yeah, good for them. They're gonna have that's gonna be really good for them. I can't even, off the top of my head, tell you what their weakness is. I haven't watched enough Philly football to be able to tell you. If we have any Philly fans who happen to tune into this podcast, leave a comment because it would be great to get a comment. But also tell us who you think would be a good pick for the Philadelphia Eagles. But yeah, we have no idea who the Philadelphia Eagles will pick. And then the Tennessee Titans, man. You gotta go quarterback here because I mean Ryan Tannehill just isn't the answer. The dude did not look good before he went down with injury.
We're looking at like 5 quarterbacks off the board. So you're going for the 6th best quarterback.
We don't know if it's going to be 5 quarterbacks off the board. Draft day is always wild. So, they need a quarterback. So maybe they got to draft pick up. Who knows what they're going to do.
Malik Willis might be good when he gets healthy.
That's true. I forgot about Malik Willis. I think he is healthy, though. And I think they moved over to John. No, he's injured?
I'm pretty sure him and Tannehill are both hurt.
Wow.
That's why they had some random dude in there.
I
could be wrong.
Josh Dobbs, no eyebrows. Come on, get it right.
Was it? Yeah, you're right. You're right.
It's Josh Dobbs, bro. My boy Josh Dobbs. He's really smart. Okay, he did major in like astrophysics or something crazy, or astroengineering, something like that. So anyway, but yeah, I don't think he moved. I don't think he's the answer or anything. And then Houston Texans are picking again here at number 12. So they got the number 2 overall and number 12. That's pretty good, man. They
capital.
And they need it because they are desperately in need of help along their studly non-stud team. So they need to find some answers. We'll see what they do. Jets. Disappointing year for the Jets, man. I really thought they could get to the playoffs. I think they were 7-3 at one point, dude. It's a bummer to see them just drop all those games in a row. Saleh looks like a good coach over there.
Power slid.
So you don't think Mike White is the answer? White power?
He's too hurt. He's too injury prone.
Yeah, the dude's pretty injury prone, and frankly, when he did get back in there banged up, he just did not look the same as he has with a couple of different games. I think he's like one of those guys that has flashes, but whether he's going to be a consistently good quarterback in the NFL
if he could stay healthy, maybe he could be a guy. But like we haven't seen like 3 games together out of the dude. He goes in there, whoa, and then he's hurt.
Yeah, that's a great description of what's going on there with Mike White. What do you have to say about your fellow Michael?
About who?
About your fellow Mike White.
Well, his name's Mike. He's probably pretty dope.
Let's go, Mike Power.
And then the New England Patriots picking here at 14. That's interesting because they were competitive for most of this year.
Yeah.
Bill Belichick is probably gonna, frankly, probably not pick somebody good. Like of all the things that Belichick does well, I don't know if drafting is one of them. Like you had Brady there for years and years, and you just never really surrounded him with that much talent through the draft. Like a lot of the guys they picked up were like guys they got like Julian Edelman, like the 7th round or some shit, and like. I don't know, man. Like, they seem to struggle in these first-round picks. I mean, I could be wrong, but
I think that's accurate. That makes sense.
We need to get Cooper on here and see what he thinks about it, our boy Cooper O'Connell. Because, the picking 14 is not bad at all. And then number 15, the Green Bay Packers are picking. What do you think they're going to do, Michael?
Oh, man. You probably get yourself a O-line, D-line, maybe a wide receiver. You don't need a quarterback
because Aaron's back.
Yeah.
Or your boy Jordan Love.
True.
Yeah, I don't know about him, but
no.
There's a lot of doubts on our boy Jordan Love from what I've heard from Packers fans. Nobody seems to be big believers in him. That's probably for a reason. And then we got the Washington Commanders picking at 16. They once again had a pretty competitive year. So they also are a team in need of a quarterback. You can't go with Taylor Heineke, and Carson Wentz is definitely not the answer either. Sorry to see Carson Wentz not doing well, but I think the guy lost it ever since he got that. He was having the MVP year, got injured.
That was his rookie year, right?
No, it was like his 2nd or 3rd year. But yeah, he was having the MVP year, got injured, rode the boys to the Super Bowl, and just has not looked the same ever since.
For the Eagles, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
The Eagles, he had a great season with the Eagles.
Yep.
And then he
got injured. Big Dick Nick came in and led him to the Super Bowl.
Big Dick Nick, dude, most.
Where is he?
He didn't deserve that Super Bowl.
The Colts, right?
He's the Colts. He's the guy who got fucking demolished by Thibodeau last week.
And
Snow Angels right next to him.
Yeah.
So tough times for my boy Nick Foles. He's had a rough go of it the last couple of years. Pittsburgh Steelers are going to be picking number 17. Once again, a pretty high team. They're doing well. They are right now picking 17. They need to surround. They need to surround Pickett with some weapons if he's going to be a guy. Because once again, that's a team that does not have very many receivers. They picked Pickens out of Georgia last year, and he looked okay. I don't think
Pickens is good. He's just not getting the ball enough.
Yeah, fair enough.
And they also have Najee Harris, which is I think they're a run central team because they have Najee Harris.
For sure.
So, yeah, I don't know what they need. I think, according to Frankie, what they need is better play calling. The same thing what you were saying, where they, with the Bucks.
Offensive coordinator's
terrible. So that's their biggest problem right now.
So can they draft an offensive coordinator? And then the Detroit Lions, Dan Campbell. Motor City Dan Campbell's back on the board again.
Good for them.
Who are we going for, man? 18. Listen, man, we're building a really great team here, man. We just need guys to buy in, man.
These guys that just want to bite kneecaps.
Bite kneecaps, whatever it takes to win, man. So, yeah, we'll see what Detroit Lions do. The rest of these are up for debate as the playoffs will continue. Right now, they have the Buccaneers picking at 19. Will not happen since we're going to be Super Bowl champions. We'll probably be picking at 32. All right, maybe not Super Bowl champions. No, fuck you, Mike. We're Super Bowl champions, baby. Tom Brady's going to take another one and then maybe right off into the sunset his contract year for the Buccaneers. Wouldn't mind it if he gets one more and then just rides off to the sunset and sends us into the dark ages again as Buccaneers. I'll be fine. 2 Super Bowl rings while you were with us. 3 Super Bowl rings overall.
You should be happy with one.
Shut up. We already have 2. But anyway, I would be happy with a third and riding off to the sunset. That's fine with me. And the rest of these, we'll see how they play out. But anyway, as we mentioned, we have other things to attend to here in Costa Rica. Thank you for tuning into this wonderful podcast. Do you have any parting words for our guests here?
Like, comment, subscribe.
Yeah, do that. Corey?
I got a quote thing I want to do.
Oh, yeah, hit them with the quote, Corey.
Let's hear the quote.
All right, so.
But before you do that, let's hit them with a non-sponsor sponsor, which today we are sponsored once again, by Colgate. Because you really should be taking care of your teeth, people. Okay?
Flossing's important.
Teeth are important. The ladies will not like you if you have messed up teeth. And guess what, ladies? If you have messed up teeth, us guys notice.
Yeah.
So do not have messed up teeth. Don't do it. Get better teeth. Get Colgate.
Also, fun fact, having bad teeth hygiene is linked to early dementia. So you're going to go fucking crazy if you don't floss.
You don't want that.
You don't want that. You want to go fucking crazy.
Nobody wants that. Anyway, Corey, hit him with the quote.
So it's not so much a quote, more of a philosophy. But if you were to talk to a girl and you do all those things right and you do all the right steps, you put in all the things, you buy her flowers, you take her on dates, all that stuff, still no guarantee you will end up with that girl. If you have a job and you put in tons of work and effort and you think you're the best guy at that job and you're doing everything right and you're ready for that promotion and they give it to someone else, still not a guarantee. The only thing in life that is a guaranteed effort in, result out, is working out. So put time and effort into your body. It's the one thing that'll never wake up and tell you it doesn't love you anymore. So work on your body and it'll be with you forever.
Sports by Compian!